get a red indicator here. So we always have to build our features that they scale well.
Yeah.
And will work for every player.
And also something probably a lot of you players are wondering, like how do the production chains come into play in multiplayer? Because in single player you load up the map and you have the choice of either like placing them yourself or purchasing like a pre-existing production point, like we've seen with the sugar mill or maybe like the bakery. And how does it work in multiplayer with like different farms and stuff?
Yeah, each farm can still have their own production points.
Mm-hmm. So there can be different bakeries.
Yes.
For example.
But if you want to deliver to a different farm, you're gonna sell your goods there.
Okay.
So that's required. So you still have the option to sell your goods at other farms, but also can have your own products. So you're not limited in any ways that you would not have the option to get rid of your produced goods.
So, but what's really nice though then is saying we're playing a multiplayer and I place down a bakery, although I don't even have the equipment for harvesting wheat or whatever, and I don't have a flour mill, I still, by placing down this bakery and investing in it, am offering like another possible selling station to all the other players. And so it opens up different kinds of way these like our farms can interact with each other.
And of course, if you've got your chain going and you see, okay, there's a bottleneck here, maybe you can place a second grain mill, so you got more wheat or flour to use for your bakeries.
Yeah.
So it's a process of micromanagement. You have to see where do I have to invest more, or where's the problems in my system, where can I improve the overall throughput and gain more revenue.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like it's good if it was a good harvest, like a nice harvest. I have lots of wheat, then partly maybe my flour mill can only handle so much, and you can always sell any excess goods you might have either to other players or of course to other locations in the game world.
With the aspect of the limited storage, you are inclined to use more different stations or store your wheat in your silo.
Okay.
So you cannot just dump like 500,000 liters of wheat at one point, so you have to think a bit more and have to store it and maybe sell it at different stations.
Okay. And of course it also ties in a little bit with our prices system, like the prices management. If there's one player, for example, that sells a lot of wheat, then that price might go down after a while, and you might sit on it if you don't want to get rid of it immediately, wait for a better price. Then of course you have to think about where am I going to store stuff, or am I going to invest maybe in a like bakery to produce bread and keep that price going and stuff like this. So the micromanagement aspect, I think, is something that's going to be very, very cool for players out there, and just in general, even those that maybe focus more on trying to kind of like automate their farm. People that like to play with the AI helper, for example, they can let the AI worker do his or her job, and then just they themselves focus on walking around, transporting the goods that come out to the different production chains. I think the management part might be something that maybe like was missing a little bit before in previous games, and here this is something that really like undermines this.
You have the option to do it, but you're not forced to do it, so
with everything, of course.
It adds more without forcing players who don't want to use it to spend time with it.
Is there any kind of like favorite production point you yourself have, or like not a production point, but maybe like a branch, because there's like these different branches. You have like flour, of course, for the bakery and things.
Engine. I could pretend that I know what all these parts are doing, but honestly, I don't. Yet I could drive this tractor or a car without having to know what's going on under the hood.
And quite a lot of this rendering artifact.
Ta-da! Yeah, it's nice, but I don't think it's enough, Stefan. Sorry, but while you're trying to fix the light, let me tell you, and you see it also that you don't see the ground that much as an FS19, so it's more, very more dense, covered,
Definitely.
surface. So we
And also, I noticed the other day while
and pretty nice new wheels, so that are from Continental. Yeah, especially these road wheels are new, so we haven't had them branded yet,
okay.
but now we got them also branded and not as Lizard. Yeah, they look really nice. And also
The new profile on
yeah,
there.
the profile is more 3D. So, and we also got from Continental the wheels on,
Look at
on
that.
our really nice John Deere, but they're also really nice. But this is also the white
The white
configuration
config, yeah.
for the wheels, so it looks pretty good in our John Deere. So also a new tractor, yeah, basically everything new. Yeah, older tractor from John Deere was built end of the 90s, and yeah, as it
Can ask all of your questions there. And second of all,
we got here a farm. I built here some.
Now use this product to bring it, for example, to the bakery, which is
bring it
Yeah.
there and think about before it optimize.
just see what you need and customize the world in the way you like.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a nice, very finishing touch. So we're gonna say goodbye to Marius for now. Thank you for being here with us today and giving us a little insight into the new production chains coming to Farming Simulator 22.
Anytime.
And yeah, we will bring Stefan right back and continue with a little bit something more. And joining us now, of course, again is Stefan. Going to bring him back because we have a little something more to show you. We teased it in the very beginning, something about how great our new ground textures look. Stefan, let's show the players out there how amazing our new... I mean, we have different ground textures now, depending on... We see a new tool here, and we have, depending on what kind of tool you're using, of course you're going to get different ground types. So maybe we want to talk about that a little bit.
Exactly. So here we got a disc harrow. So you can see it has a lot of small discs that are rotating and are like cutting the ground and mixing it a little bit. So it's a bit different from a normal cultivator. A cultivator works a bit more in depth and
they
really
claw
changes
themselves in.
the look of the ground. And now let's just enter here our Case Magnum. It's also a new tractor. We already showed that on some screenshots. It's a brand new Magnum series, also with the 400.
Oh, and you
That's not
also
new.
see here something we had in FS19 with the Platinum add-on, I believe, are crawlers that are now fully three-dimensional as well.
Yeah, we introduced that with the class DLC.
Yeah.
And now we got it on basically all of the vehicles. So if you have a close look here and you drive, you see that it's three-dimensional and it's moving.
Really, really pretty. But before we start, you of course need to attach your disc harrow in the back.
Nearly forgot that. So let's head back to my disc harrow. So also a new disc harrow from Case. So it's like the first time we got from Case also some more tools. Normally we only had tractors and combines and that stuff, but now we got also some tools here. So let's unfold it.
There's also every time I see these machines unfold, especially larger ones, I always have to think of integrators like yourself.
Yeah.
So many different parts to animate to get these things just look beautifully.
Yeah, sometimes it's really difficult, especially if the tools get really wide.
Yeah.
So also for American cultivators.
And when they start unfolding in sections and sections.
So sometimes it's really tricking and taking a lot of time to implement it well.
Yeah.
And to have it as realistic as possible. So now we unfolded it, and then we can just.
And now, let's see what all the fuss is about with these new, nice crop types.
Yeah, so
ground types, not crop types, of course.
The ground types. So if we cultivate now, we can see that there's also some straw still, so the stubbles of the field are still in the ground.
Yeah.
So if you would drive now with a cultivator, it would look different.
Yeah.
Because the cultivator is more bringing the straw under the ground.
Yeah, it
so you
basically
don't really
digs them underneath.
Exactly.
Almost.
So so that's the first edition here.
So this is like depending on if you're using disc harrow or a cultivator or a plow, for example. It's always going to be whatever was on the field before. It's always going to look different. Of course,
Yeah.
how the ground has been worked.
So the plow is also putting everything under the ground. So even more than a cultivator.
Yeah.
But all this stuff has also gameplay effects. Improved the weed system there a bit.
Yeah.
So if you drive with a disc harrow, you got more stubbles there, and this results after that the weeds grow faster.
Okay.
So you don't have that much time to get rid of the weeds. So it also has some kind of gameplay effect.
Yeah, I mean the main thinking behind the whole thing was that we want to reward the player for actually taking the time and working the field and like many different cycles and shifts. So if you take better care of your ground this way, that of course is going to reward you in some way or another within the gameplay loop.
Exactly. So if you, for example, use the disc harrow, you can also drive faster. So and it also has a financial benefit because the disc harrow is normally a bit cheaper than the cultivator, but you don't have that much time for the weed to control the weeds.
They always got a
afterwards.
balance.
Yeah.
If you got the
so
money,
you have to choose. And before in FS19 it was all the same. So that's an improvement there. So
all right.
And you can also see our new effects here, like similar to the back of the combine. You can also see the
new particles effect in the back.
The dirt that is spreading after the disc. So we improved that as well and added a whole new bunch of ground and soil effects. Okay, so let's jump to another nice vehicle.
Yeah, some might have already seen this one on a screenshot or two. This is our Xerion, our Class Xerion saddle track.
Yeah, one of my favorites. So
yes, I think this is your personal baby. You bringing it into the game from start to finish.
Yes, so it's in my opinion the best pre-order bonus we ever had. So it's not just a small tractor that is an addition. It's really a great addition to the game.
Also for those wondering, so if you pre-order the game digitally anywhere, you will be able to get the Class Saddle Track Pack for your game, or you can also buy the game retail, and it's going to be included if you get the disc version in the stores as well.
Exactly. So at the back of the Xerion we can also see the tools from Kaweco. We never had them in the game before, so they're also new. So we got at the back the slurry distributor and the tank on top. And as you have seen probably already on the website, we got also the semi-trailed tanker for that. So if you need to have some more slurry, you can use that. Okay, so but first, before we start to bring out the slurry, I want to have a quick look on the cow shed here.
This is also new.
Yeah, so it's from Rudolf Herrmann.
Yes, it's the first time actually in game that we ever have like a branded like animal husbandry.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really a special thing, and they produce really great things here. So yeah,
look at our cows.
Look at our cows, they're beautiful. And they're eating there. Also from this side, a pretty nice one, and you can also open here all the gates.
You can have a look inside, of course, as well. And there's also like the feeding area in the front.
Yeah, so we improved here also a bit. Close this door if you want.
I mean, they seem much more interactive than they were before compared to FS19. So you will have all these little elements around the husbandries. You have opening sheds and doors basically and stuff like this. And of course, you're already parked near the slurry trigger now.
Yeah. So that's underground slurry tank here, and you fill it then from the top. And we got a bunch of little elements there on the placeables. Especially one nice thing is the lighting inside some sheds we have. So it
the new lighting system of the whole, like the interior design of
exactly.
it. So if it's night, you'll see those lights coming on.
Yeah, and you can also toggle them manually, so you can just walk to the light switch and turn it on if you need it. So let's drive to the field.
And I mean, part of this of the pre-order bonus, like the whole saddle track pack, maybe just to summarize again, it's going to be the saddle track itself, of course, and you have one of the Kaweco tanks already with a slurry distributor, and you mentioned it before, the other one was the other tank?
Yeah, the semi-tray tanker.
The semi, exactly.
Yeah. So more for the bigger farms. This one got 16 cubic meters.
Exactly.
And the bigger one got a bit more. I don't know the exact number, but
if you have a few more cows and a few bigger fields to take care of, maybe that might be the way to go.
And it's also good to mount a bigger distributor.
But now, of course, new slurry distributor also means that the ground is going to change again once we get started. So we see Stefan already unfolding this. So if you want to fertilize your fields to increase your yield, you can do that.
Yeah. So you can see it here. Yeah, it's
maybe like the pre-texture before isn't the best to show it on, but you do see it very slightly.
Yeah, it's a little bit darker. And now if
wetter basically. Also with the slurry.
Yeah. One nice thing also here this front arm.
Yeah, I was about to ask, what's that in the front?
So in real life that is used to get the slurry into the tank. So normally you have one tractor with a slurry with a tanker that is bringing the slurry to the field, and with that one you get the slurry into this one and then distribute it on the field. And you can also unfold that and move it. I'll show you that as well. There you go. See it unfolding, and then you can manually control that.
All right.
Exactly.
And I mean something. We have one more thing we want to show you guys. When taking care of your field, when fertilizing them, when using like slurry distributors or also like fertilizer sprayers, for example, we've in the past we've had like fertilizer levels. We had like in FS19 we had a 2, and we still have these in FS22, but now there's something new that we're bringing to the game for the first time ever.
Yeah, so it's a pretty nice feature if you got a lot of slurry and want to get rid of it. And
you don't have much time.
Exactly. So normally you have to
because
fertilize.
You need to get the take your disc harrow out before the weeds come in.
So normally you have 2 fertilizer states. So you need to bring out the fertilizer twice. But if you got a lot of slurry, you can toggle this feature here. You see it on the top. Activate double application rate. So if you activate that,
it will bring out the doubled amount of slurry.
And it's gonna count basically as 2 fertilized layers at once.
Yeah, you drive a bit slower because that it brings out the same the doubled amount. So you drive half of the speed.
Yeah.
But then you get the doubled spray state.
So with all these little geek features, as we like to call them, coming into play, I want to know from you, what's the main inspiration behind all of these? Is it something like when you're playing where you're saying, oh, this might be nice to have? What's that spark that gives you the inspiration behind putting something like this into the game?
Yeah, sometimes it's based on user feedback.
Yeah.
But also a lot of times some of the colleagues come to me and say, hey, this would be great. And then we just implement it. So and sometimes also I think of, hey, this would be cool if we improve that a bit.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just little things that improve it really well. So
especially then maybe since it's already there in real life, maybe there's a way to bring it into the game. I think for me personally, the whole new gear system, the gear shifting system, is a perfect example of why didn't we have it in before? I mean, it's of course it makes sense, you know, you have it in when driving a car as well, but it always has to be optional as well, of course, for those players that it's a nice to have, but and some might just dabble around with it for a couple of game time hours, but then maybe switch back. But it's always the nice balance between bringing in something new that makes it more realistic, of course, but also having that in as an optional feature, basically.
And it also it has to be implemented well so that it works
that's the
fine.
Thing.
So we also could have brought the gear shifting earlier, but if it does not work perfectly, it's also bad.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Breaking the stuff, making sure it works, hopefully.
Correctly.
All right. Well, I think with that, hopefully we were able to give you a little bit, just a tiny glimpse of what's to come in FS22. And if there's nothing else, Stefan, thank you for showing us what you've been working on.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And we can't wait to show you more. But for now, back to Martin.
Thank you, Stefan, Marius, and Kenny, for this first look at some of the gameplay features of Farming Simulator 22. Bear in mind that there are smaller and larger features being added to the game. We will reveal more in the coming month until launch. And of course, our popular fact sheets will also be released again. It's time for our next ambassador, and this one is just full of energy. He is energy. Energy Sang from France.
Bonjour à tous, c'est Marlon ou Energy 5, un youtubeur français sur Farming Simulator, et je vais remercier déjà Giants de me permettre de faire passer un petit message à la communauté française francophone. Déjà merci à tous, cette année a été juste incroyable, on s'éclate tellement sur le jeu, je pense que je me suis jamais autant amusé sur un Farming Simulator. Les modeurs font un travail formidable et je pense que c'est grâce à eux qu'on s'amuse autant, c'est juste fou. On n'a jamais eu autant de modes français d'ailleurs, ni autant de maps et autant de maps françaises. Donc voilà, merci à tous, merci également à toute la communauté, tous les joueurs, on s'éclate vraiment comme des oufs et j'ai hâte de voir toutes les futures annonces qui vont nous permettre, je pense, de continuer de nous amuser comme ça. Allez, merci encore à Giants et à bientôt.
What we'd love to do now is talk to you, listen to your feedback and answer your questions. Join the official Farming Simulator Discord server now, where we will be available during and after the show. Some of us will stick around there for a while and are eager to hear from you. For tomorrow's FarmCon, we are also planning to answer some questions you might have in person. How do we do that? We have set up a simple form, much like a letterbox, where you can drop your questions about anything Farming Simulator related. FS22, modding, brands, it's up to you. Of course, we will not be able to answer all of them, but we will do our best to go through them and select the ones that seem to really interest many of you. We have also gathered some questions throughout the last few weeks with the help from our official Farming Simulator ambassadors. They have been asking around all over the globe in many languages and sent us their feedback. Lars and Kenny, I heard you have the answers.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first FarmCon Q&A with Lars Malczarek, Lizatan, the community manager, and with me is Kenneth, our QA lead.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to be here. Nice to be with you.
Same.
Awesome. FarmCon Day 2.
Yes.
We've seen some amazing things, and
we'll see even more
oh, yes.
down the road.
I'm so happy to, well, let's not talk about Day 3 now. Let's make that a little bit later. Let's talk about questions. So what happened here? Our ambassadors, you might know that we have a couple of ambassadors out there, have been collecting questions over the last 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say, regarding Farming Simulator 22, regarding Giants, regarding whatever the hell came to your mind. And we will answer a couple of these questions. We can't answer all of them, obviously.
So many questions.
There were like insane amount of questions. We picked a couple. There were a lot of duplicate questions that we won't cover like 10 times. We will just answer it once. And we will go through all these questions. Some of them will be answered by Kenny, that's why he's here. Some of them will be answered by me, and some of them will be answered by our professionals. And you're gonna see how that looks. That's why we have a nice little screen.
We have a few special guests.
We have a few special guests. So, do we want to start?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of questions.
Yeah, we
Let's
have a bunch of questions.
with them.
We actually printed them because there are so many. So we're going to read the questions and we'll see what comes out of it. I'm going to start with the first one because the first one is definitely for you.
Okay.
It's from Easton in the USA. Since you are self-publishing the next farming simulator, will testing mods be as strict as the new game, as in the new game, as they have been in the past?
Well, yes, we're self-publishing for the first time ever. To be honest, that doesn't really have an effect on how we test mods, so it's basically going to be the same. We have, as always, our